Movies podcast. My name is Dylan DeAngelis. I'm joined as always by my co-host, Mr. Jason Gong. We're here. We're sweaty. We just got out of seeing Ryan Coogler's new film, Sinners. This is an instant reaction, full spoilers review, I think, right? We don't like doing non-spoilers around here. I'm going to be honest with you, Jason. I don't know what there is even to spoil about this movie, per se.
If you saw the trailer, you know what's going to happen in the movie.
Also, if you've seen other movies that are similar to this one, I feel like you know what it is already, but we were compelled to do a review on this because this movie is a critic darling right now. It's an audience darling. It had like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes for a long time there. I think it's like 99% at the time of this recording. Somebody gave it a bad review. They couldn't let it sit on top of that pedestal, unfortunately.
They should let us be official Rotten Tomatoes
That's only
reviewers.
For, what is it like? I think it was like Toy Story 2 was at 100%, something like that.
Paddington 2 was also at 100%.
Canon movies at 100%, though. It's not cool. Anyway, Jason, we just got out of the theater. We ran here in 75-degree weather. What are your thoughts on Sinners?
Yo, that movie is awesome, Dylan. I see why everyone likes it. It's just super cool and exciting. It's a period piece, and then you get that element of it as well. You know, a lot of people like the Titanic because it's a period piece. I'm a guy who watched several seasons of Downton Abbey. I like seeing period piece costumes and stuff, and they did an awesome job. I felt transported to the world of Sinners.
Oh my God.
Which is just the South in the 1800s.
It's Mississippi in 1923.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That movie was really cool. It's basically about two brothers who have like
It's just two brothers.
They have a checkered past, and then they want to throw the biggest party this town has ever seen.
That's it.
And that's the setup, and that's the first hour of the movie.
It's like an hour 10 almost.
Yeah. And then they add the vampires.
The movie's 2 hours and 18 minutes long, which, in my opinion, is too long. You know how I am.
I thought it was okay this time.
I did not think it was okay. This movie does not get a reprieve for being as long as it is. The movie takes too long to get to the twist that you know is coming if you've seen the trailers. The twist, spoilers once again, is that this is a vampire movie. This movie is From Dusk Till Dawn. This is literally From Dusk Till Dawn, but just in the hands of like an auteur filmmaker. It's Ryan Coogler trying to do the bigger budget, like more serious version of From Dusk Till Dawn. For anybody that doesn't know what From Dusk Till Dawn is directed by Robert Rodriguez. It stars Quentin Tarantino and George Clooney.
Yes.
And Salma Hayek as the hottest a human being has ever looked on a movie screen. And in that movie, they kidnap a preacher and his two kids in an RV, and they bring him down to the Mexico border, and they go into a biker gang bar, and they go there to hole out basically to avoid the authorities. And the biker gang bar is actually a vampire bar. Everybody turns into vampires, and so they have to fight off the vampires throughout the night. That is literally the plot of Sinners, except it's just Michael B. Jordan and Michael B. Jordan and the cast of characters that you're introduced to in the first hour of the film, and it's them fighting off vampires who are not actually members of the club themselves. It's actually an outside group of vampires. Well, it's one guy
who
then
who's slowly turning
Yeah.
all the other people in the town, and then very quickly gets most of the people dancing at the club.
Yeah, they get 95% of the people that were in that party within a 5-minute span.
But all the characters we spent time with in that first hour, they are the final group.
They're alive temporarily.
Spoilers. That's the spoiler part of this.
That's really the only like semi-interesting part of this movie, at least in my opinion. When we got to that point, I was like, okay, who's gonna die?
Yeah,
because inevitably, if you get just from like a storytelling perspective, okay, I'm gonna write in that 10 characters are still alive in this barn that they're holed up in. Inevitably, 2 or 3 of them are making it out max, right? A twist would be if all 10 of them survive the back half of the movie.
Yeah, that doesn't happen
That
here.
doesn't happen ever in horror movies. So, and then the other thing, and in my opinion, this movie kind of drags a little bit through like the halfway to like the ending part of it, because they have to get over this hurdle of they're following the vampire myth of vampires need to be invited into your house. And so because of that, they can just stay in this barn for as long as they want to, because they're not inviting the vampires in, so the vampires can't get in.
Yeah,
and they spend like 20 minutes like getting to that point where the vampires ultimately come in.
Yeah, the main cast of characters are like savvy enough about the genre that they realize they're in, that they the guy's like, "Hey guys, it's me, your buddy.
It's your boy.
It's your boy Cornbread. Please let me in." And they're like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 hold up. That's something a vampire would say." And you don't always see that in vampire movies where people understand the rules of vampires.
They have that one woman. They have the one woman who's like the Bayou mystical woman.
Right. She practices like some form of like old timey medicine, witchcraft adjacent type stuff.
So she's literally in the movie.
She's aware.
So you have a character that knows what vampires are.
She's read Dracula, and she just knows everything about vampires. She knows all the classic rules of fighting vampires. She's like, guys, we need to make some wooden stakes. We need to eat this garlic.
Yeah, they do the scene from The Thing where they're poking the petri dishes, but instead in this one, they're eating cloves of garlic to try to see like which one of them
might be a vampire. Yeah, and then there's a couple fake outs there. I mean, there was good tension and comedy in that scene. There's like good tension and comedy all around. Like,
yeah, that's why I compared it to From Dusk Till Dawn. It's because From Dusk Till Dawn is schlock. It's like B movie schlock, and that's what Robert Rodriguez does.
This really is like elevated B movie material.
This is a high quality B movie,
but it's like so high quality, and then like again, just the attention to detail that they put into the setting and the costumes and everything, the accent work. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, I guess we could talk about the cast of characters a little bit here. Michael B. Jordan plays a pair of brothers.
Yeah, Smoke and
Stack. And I think one of these characters was supposed to be Jonathan Majors at one point.
Really?
Jonathan Majors not in this movie? I believe so.
Wait.
Feel free to correct me in the comments if I got that wrong.
Wait, so it's going to be two guys?
I think it was supposed to be Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors were the brothers.
Wow. Well, this is way better.
And instead, it's Michael B. Jordan playing both of them, which I think is fun.
Twins.
I don't think, like, them both being Michael B. Jordan is fine. I'm not sure if it, like, elevates the movie to anything, like...
It doesn't add to the story necessarily. I mean, it adds the fact that these two brothers are identical twins, which adds a level of, like, closeness to them. In media... Twins are always like super close. They're like, I can't live without you, that type of thing.
Yeah, we never get an interesting moment of we see one of them and we don't know which one it is because one wears blue and one wears red. The whole movie.
Really funny. Yeah.
They're color coded.
They're never trying to use the fact that they're twins to add other twists like that. That's not really their deal. Although I do think that
shout out to Star Wars Acolyte.
There could have been fun antics if they did like little twin shenanigans, but I guess that
we just don't get.
They didn't have time for that. You already thought the movie was too long.
Absolutely.
If they were running a prank where they were like, you don't know which of us is which, that would have been like unnecessary.
So we've kind of established that this is a vampire movie, right? I think on the surface level, you would say, what is interesting about this then? What elevates this movie?
Yeah, it's also kind of a musical.
Yeah, so... and that's the big thing is that we have this character, Sammie, who is ostensibly the main character of the film. I think the movie makes a slight mistake by showing at the very beginning that Sammie gets out of it alive.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
They show you that Sammie's alive, and then it says one day earlier, and then that's the rest of the movie. I think it would have been cool to at least give us like a little bit of tension.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to like which characters make it out alive, but he has this like gift of playing the guitar and playing the blues that is some sort of like special magical gift that he has that certain musicians throughout history have, where they can essentially summon spirits throughout space and time. With their music,
and it's a little metaphorical, but a little bit just real.
It becomes literal at one point in the movie.
Yes, which is awesome. It's one of the best parts of the movie. And I think it's scenes like that really elevate this above like, oh, it's a vampire movie.
Yeah, I would say that like that's probably the biggest thing. The score by Ludwig Göransson is being praised a lot by people.
It's great.
And I think this movie isn't what it is without the music.
Yeah. I mean, the music is central to the movie. It's like the main theme.
Though I do wish a little bit, and we talked about this on our walking home. I do wish the music had a more direct involvement in the plot when it comes to defeating the vampires.
Yeah, Dylan was mad that the power of music didn't kill the vampires. Although at one point, Sammie does hit a vampire in the head with the guitar.
That's the thing. We're at the end of the movie. He's got the main vampire there in front of him. He's reaching for his guitar. Like, what is the cooler sounding thing? Is him hitting the vampire over the head with a guitar, or him pulling the guitar over and playing it, repelling the vampire backwards with the music?
It's not that kind of movie about the power of music. It's not Scott Pilgrim. It's about...
See, that's something that they would put in Dusk Till Dawn. They would put, like, something really schlocky like that
I mean, that would be fun in a different movie, but this movie is not really going for that type of thing. The Power of Music is about how it gets people through hard times and how even vampires really crave good tunes. That's actually what draws the vampires to the barn. Is the lead vampire's like, I really need music in my life to transport me to other places and see the ancestors. And so I think he's been eating different musicians throughout his lifetime.
Yeah, because the vampires have their own music.
Because by the time we meet the vampires, they're doing an Irish jig, and it's awesome. So at some point, this man ate some Irish people, and now he wants that good black blues music.
I'm gonna be honest, I think the movie's just trying to tell you that Irish people are evil.
That's...
If you're gonna take one thing out of this movie, don't trust the Irish.
I did read a Letterboxd review that said the same thing. Yeah, no. So music is like really focal to this movie. It's one of the things that I think we both agree elevates it above what it could have been, which was just like a really good vampire movie. I think, like, for me, the period piece element worked really well. I think the performances were great. And I didn't mind the pacing. I loved like the structure.
There's just a little bit I have issue with the pacing because like there's a point in the movie where I went, oh shit, I know exactly how this movie's gonna go because I've seen this movie before.
Mm-hmm.
And so in my head I'm like, oh no, they're doing the thing where like you set up all of these characters and then vampires happen and shit goes south real fast, and now all of those like side plots are to the wayside because it's vampire time, baby.
Yeah. I mean, I think it works.
And it's difficult because like that the intro section of this film I think is pretty strong, and so in my head I'm going, what does this movie look like without vampires? Can you have more of an interesting like familial drama between these brothers, between Sammie, who's a relative of theirs? You have Haley Steinfeld, who is a woman who is scorned by one of the brothers. And I just think all of the dynamics of like this town and these brothers, it's kind of cool. It's almost like it's like a Southern gangster movie.
Yeah, it's really good.
And like they're always talking about the KKK. So obviously, like racism is a huge part of this movie, even though it's not the main part of the movie. There is a scene where Michael B. Jordan kills a bunch of KKK members because I guess that's just is required if you're doing a movie like this in the Jim Crow South.
It was cool, but I see the point you're getting at.
It feels a little disorganized, is all I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I just think there's like there's a smarter version of this movie that could have been made. I compared to this something like Get Out, which is like another movie made by a black director that has a lot of, you know, overt social commentary to it, has horror movie elements, has horror movie tropes, but it's such a smart script. The movie, you almost don't know where it's going until, you know, spoilers for Get Out, they're ripping people's skulls open by the end of the movie, and you go, I didn't see this coming. And then if you're watching Sinners, if you've seen a vampire movie before, 45 minutes in, you kind of have an idea of what's going to happen here.
Yeah, but I think the formula, it's tried and true, but it works. And I don't know, there's some surprises. Like Dylan tried to get up and leave when the credits started playing, but there is like kind of a post-credits scene.
This movie has a whole post-credits sequence where Haley Steinfeld
it's pretty long
and Stack are revealed to still be alive.
Yeah, spoilers. In the 90s.
They've just been living, I guess, as vampires, and that's it.
Yeah, which was pretty cool. He's also wearing like a goofy 90s.
Yeah, Michael B. Jordan was probably just like, I want to wear a cool outfit.
Wear this. And has like, doesn't he have like a flat top? Like,
yeah, and he's got like one of those like big wide knuckle rings that say Stack on it.
It's a style we don't see anymore. Because like for part of that sequence, I was like, oh, we're in the present now. And then I realized, like, no, this is still so long ago. This is still a period piece.
It was 1992, which is the year I was born, so it was a long time ago.
But no, that movie was sick. There probably isn't like too many twists and turns. Maybe even none at all. Like if you're a savvy movie watcher.
I don't know if there's a single point in this movie that made me go, I didn't see that coming.
I know. I'm trying to think because I would love to refute that. But
like it's almost like it reminded me of Shaun of the Dead a little bit. Shaun of the Dead's like also a movie where you get all this main cast and then they hole up in this location, and then the rest of the movie takes place in that location.
Yeah, it's a good formula. It works really well, and it worked really well here.
And now I'm thinking like there's an opportunity here
to do something different.
If you're like a really savvy screenwriter, like take this formula what is the rub?
Yeah, what would
is
you
the twist
flip?
you could put on
What
it?
would you switch around?
Because uh, in From Dusk Till Dawn, they also go with the idea that everybody in the bar like kind of knows how to fight the vampires. They get more crazy with it in that movie. They they fill water guns up with holy water and squirt the vampires with it. It's great. I guess you would have to do something like that where, I mean, we just saw that in Nosferatu, where for the most part people don't know what a vampire is,
Right.
and even that you need Willem Dafoe's character to at least bridge the gap a little bit for you,
Hmm.
because the realistic version of the way this movie ends is that everybody gets killed in there. That's how this movie like it would end in real life.
Right.
Is that as soon as those barn doors open, like it's kind of an interesting twist a little bit in that like they seem completely helpless against the vampires once they get in. They make like all these stakes and everything, and they just get overrun immediately.
Yeah, because there's like 70 vampires out there, and
Yeah.
there's like 9 people inside. And even though they prepped and ate garlic, it's still not really
Yeah,
enough.
that's the difference between a vampire movie and a zombie movie. Is that in a zombie movie,
You can kill a lot of zombies.
yeah, you can have your characters mowing down zombies, but mowing down vampires is a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, vampires are stronger than humans. So they were lucky with the kills they got.
Yeah, so even
They
if
did
you're doing
kill a lot of guys.
yeah,
They
even
killed
if you're
lot
doing
of
like a
vampires.
vampire hunter movie, you're only fighting a handful of vampires.
Yeah, unless you're Blade and
Unless you're
half
Blade.
vampire.
Blade's badass.
Yeah, I mean, Michael B. Jordan.
I heard that Coogler might be doing Blade now too, because
I've heard that as
the
well.
Blade movie got scrapped.
Dude, I don't think Blade is happening. Like,
That's fine.
yeah.
We don't need a Blade movie.
Well, I
Can
think
we get Marshall Ali in like some real films first?
Dude, I think Marvel's gonna fast track Blade if this movie does well. They're gonna be like, we made a mistake. And I think you're right. I think the
love
rumors
black
are true.
vampires. We need vampire movies, man.
I don't think they reached out to Ryan Coogler yet, but I think they will if this movie makes a lot of money, which it might.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. It's tracking for like 50 million domestic this weekend.
And it needs like 180 million to
break
be
even.
profitable. Yeah.
I think it's gonna be tight, especially because we got Thunderbolts in a couple weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
We're getting into like the big movie season, so there's a chance that this is gonna die like relatively quickly.
Yeah, it's tough to do like a Black American South movie and expect it to do well overseas too. I'm not sure how much the global audience is gonna
be interested in that.
Yeah. I mean, it would be cool though if this made a bunch of money. I would love that.
Yeah. So anyway, what's like your overall letterbox score? You think you're gonna give Sinners?
I'm not sure yet. Either a 4.5 or a 5.
You think
I'll
this is
sit with
you
it.
think this is a 5-level movie?
It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool movie that really just nails everything it's trying to do.
So your opinion is that like this movie's kind of formulaic, but it absolutely nails the formula it's going
Yeah,
for.
exactly. Like
Because of that,
every detail is
perfect.
so good. And then like I don't know, I kind of like watching Michael B. Jordan play 2 characters.
He's a really good actor. He's really buff too. He's got some big arms.
Yeah.
He's in those suits like the entire movie, and then he goes down to the tank top, and you're like, that guy's been doing some lateral raises. His shoulders are enormous.
One Michael B. Jordan's in a tank top, and the other one's in a vest. So both Michael B. Jordans are just showing off their muscles at that point.
Also, the actor that plays Sammie, I don't know what his name is.
I think he was new, right?
Yeah, it said introducing in the end credits.
He was good.
I don't know if this is like literally his first role, but he's a really good singer, assuming that's his actual singing voice.
Yeah, that's probably why he got the part.
He's got like a really deep voice in general, which I don't know, might make it difficult for him to get like leading roles in the future. Maybe he'd be somebody that's really good as like a voice actor potentially. But I really liked him, and I thought he kind of stole the show a little bit from Michael B. Jordan and all of them. The rest of the cast of characters, I think, are okay. I think they set it up enough so that by the end of it, they get killed off, and it's like whatever.
Yeah. I mean, we grew attached to them. We kind of knew everyone's story, everyone that was holed up for the final fight, and what their deal was. To me, the movie felt really epic. Like that first hour of setup and everything really built the world out so that when the climax happens, you're like, oh man, this is all coming to a head. And then the fact that they do that flash forward in the end credits sequence, it's like this is now like a generational story. the whole thing, the scope feels a lot bigger than just the one night because of how good the setup and the payoff was.
Yeah, I do appreciate that Ryan Coogler did that post credit sequence, probably to like nip in the bud any sort of like sequel potential or anything like that, because like we've been saying, there's nothing particularly amazing here lore wise where you'd be like, oh, I want to see like a whole universe of this, because it's just a vampire movie.
Yeah, I mean, you could build out the magic of the music, but I don't think they really need to do anything further with that.
And like we were saying, the music itself isn't sort of any real plot way of fighting the vampires anyway.
Not weaponized magic or anything. I mean, it does summon the spirits of the ancestors and the future, but it doesn't do it in a way that really contributes to the plot.
Yeah.
I mean, I would watch a movie of Michael B. Jordan and Haley Steinfeld just going around history. Living as vampires. Because one thing I liked about it is that, like, they were love interests in the movie, and then they both get turned. But then, like, with that flash forward, you're like, oh, they're still together. They still love each other.
That's kind of interesting because in some versions of vampire stories, when you get turned into a vampire, you're basically a zombie.
Yeah, you lose your personality.
Yeah, you turn to a husk, but people just become really friendly in this movie when they become vampires.
Well, it's like they join a cult, basically. Yeah. Like, they're like, fellowship and love, man.
We're going to sing some Irish jigs.
And then they jig. It's so good. But they also have, these vampires have like a hive mind element that they really like explain to you in the movie. They're like, now we share all the same memories and our personalities.
You only need to kill the main one.
Yeah. So that was cool. Like the vampires here, again, nothing new, but the elements that they chose to use for this movie, I think made for some pretty cool and interesting vampires. And I don't know about you, but I think those vampires had a strong pitch. They were like, racism's gonna keep you down. Racism and hardship in the world, listen, it's tough.
We're gonna kill white people too.
And they're like, oh, we're vampires. We'll take care of you, and we're all gonna be equal. And I'm like, damn, those vampires seem cool. And then they did their jig. The jig was so fun. Like, the blues was really good, and the Irish music was
good really musical sequences. Several different musicians in the film.
Yeah.
Like the woman that's the love interest for Sammie. And then the guy the older guy that was playing the harmonica, I forget his name. I wonder if those actors were cast just because they could sing or they were actual musicians or something like that. I'd be curious.
Yeah, probably a little bit of both. I think they had good acting abilities too. Like everyone, I think every performance was really good here.
No songs from Haley Steinfeld though, right? She's a musician.
She is literally, you can listen to her on Spotify. She is famously a musician. So yeah, that is kind of strange. She's also in the Pitch Perfect franchise. She's
shout out to Pitch Perfect.
Shout out Pitch Perfect. That's probably why she got the part.
Oh Lord. No, she had to be. You needed the one white person in the movie. She's basically Martin Freeman in Black Panther.
That was kind of crazy. This movie is like, all right, there's 3 white people outside. They're all evil, and then they're like, Haley Steinfeld, you're white. Go talk to them. And then she's the first one that gets turned. Is like pretty on the nose.
Tough luck.
Yeah. But no, whatever the racial commentary in this movie was,
it's actually not that much racial commentary, honestly. It's like just like Southern racism, which we've seen in a million
Southern
movies.
Racism is bad. And then the vampires weren't even racist. The main vampire, I think, really just wanted to recruit people who could play the blues into his guy. Yeah.
You know what I want to see a movie of is of the Native American group that was clearly hunting
They were hunting the vampires, yes. So there was a lot of ethnicities represented in this movie. There was Asian people.
They own the general store in town.
They own the general store in town, and they were chill with the black people. There was a lot of black people that we saw. And then there was just a group of Native Americans that were like, we hunt vampires. Are they here? No? All right, then we're leaving the movie.
All right, see you guys.
Yeah.
That's going to be a spinoff. They're going to get their own spinoff where it's Native Americans hunting vampires in the 1920s.
I mean, there's something interesting to be said about like filmmakers who use these minority groups and attribute this like spiritual wisdom to them because of their ethnicity. And so like you could almost critique it and be like, these Native people weren't even here to do anything. They were just kind of here to be like, there's dark forces in the world and only our ancient Native American magic can combat it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can combat that. They can't combat any of the illnesses that were brought over from
rough.
Great Britain.
Tough look.
Listen, happens to the best of us. I've been sick for like the last like week or so.
Oh, I had food poisoning this past weekend. Oof. Rough.
It's not great. Anyway, I think I'm gonna land at like a 3.5 out of 5, something like that. It feels like a solid 7 out of 10 movie to me. I don't know how much like rewatchability it has.
I would watch it again,
especially due to the length. I'm curious now because I haven't looked up anything with From Dusk Till Dawn since I've seen the movie. I'm curious how long that film is by comparison, like how it's paced. Funny enough, From Dusk Till Dawn did get, I think, like I don't think it was on HBO. They got some sort of like television series that was like based around the lore of like the vampire biker gang bar.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
That's kind of interesting. But you know, I don't need every movie to be something brand new that I've never seen before. I think it's a very well-made movie. I think the music alone is a reason to go see it in theaters because I think the actors are really charming. I think they're giving good performances. It didn't like knock my blocks off, but it was good.
Yeah,
it's a good movie.
I also think this is a movie that's going to play well on like TNT cable type thing.
I could very well see this being a coworker movie.
Sure, yeah. And like, I think it's going to do well on streaming too. I think like when this hits Netflix, they'll be like,
in
Netflix
2 weeks,
#1.
when it hits streaming in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I guess it's going to Max, right? It's a WB picture. So yeah, it's going to do very well on Max. It's going to do well on whatever channels it plays on. So I think there's like a mass appeal element to this too that's really exciting.
Yeah, we'll have to see like how much like the word of mouth like really travels for the film.
Yeah, because I mean, there's a lot of people in the theater with us today. And
it's packed house.
Everyone had a pretty good time, I think.
Yeah. Anyway, Jason, any final thoughts on Sinners?
Yeah, I think you should see it. I mean, we spoiled it, so hopefully, I guess
hopefully
if you
saw it already.
Hopefully you saw it already, but you know what? Just see it again. I don't know. I might see it again because I'm gonna recommend it to people, and then I'll be like, yeah, I'll watch it with you if you want. So we'll see if I make it out to the theaters again for this one.
Yeah, it's a good flick. Definitely check it out in theaters. I enjoyed it. Jason, sounds like you enjoyed it more than me.
A little bit more, yeah. So it's at least 1 star more.
It's every movie that we watch.
Yeah, except for there's a couple that you like more than me.
Yeah, those are the rare ones.
That one.
Yeah, some of the ones that are behind us here on our posters in our studio. Shout out to anybody watching us here on YouTube.
Yeah, new setup.
Yeah, we got our new setup. Gonna have more pods coming in the future. We just thought we'd do a quick spoilers review here for Sinners. Check it out in theaters. For myself, for Jason, I think that's gonna be it for this episode of the Over Under Movies podcast. We will see you at the movies.
Bye.
We out.